Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Today, inshallah, as you can see, we're starting Unit 3 in the ODI book. As you can see from the title here, the title is Science. Of course, all of us know science and you study it at school, but there is something that you should know. Science is not just only a general word. We have many genres of science, actually. To get to know more about this, we have here the first conversation in our book, page 34. From the picture, we can notice that these people are camping. They look like they are in a forest or in a jungle, and they are dressed in a uniform or some kind of an outfit that suits camping. And they are actually examining few things here that they found. So let's listen together to the conversation and get to know more about science.
Page 34, Unit 3, Lesson 1, Activity 1. Listen and read. What do the children find? 1.
I love nature walks. Look, there's a toad. Ugh, I can't stand toads.
2.
I don't mind them. I'm really keen on zoology lessons at school. I like zoology too, but I'd rather study plants.
3.
Plants are studied by botanists, aren't they? Yes, they are. Botany is taught at university.
4.
Look, there's a bee on my flower. Yes, so there is. We're studying botany and zoology at the same time.
Okay, so as we heard in the conversation, there were two new words that we got to know actually. The first word was in the second picture, it's called zoology. And from what we understood here, zoology is related to animals because they spoke about zoology whenever or when they saw the toad. So zoology actually it's a branch of science and it's the study of animals. Okay, and the scientist or the person who studies zoology, we call them zoologists. In the third picture here, another word appeared, which is botany. Botany here is the study of plants, and whoever studies botany, we call them botanists. So here we have two different genres of science that appeared in the first conversation in the book. So now let's move to the second exercise here. I guess from the picture you can get to know more about science and you can get to know more about branches and different genres of science. So let's listen to one at a time and explain each genre separately.
Page 34, Unit 3, Lesson 1, Activity 2. Listen and repeat the sentences. Match them with the pictures. 1.
I think that geology is interesting.
Okay, so the first picture here is geology. Which picture do you think it is? Exactly, it's picture E. So in front of picture E or beside it, we can write number 1. From the picture here, what do you think geology means? We have in the picture here some rocks. So geology, it's yes, actually the study of rocks. And not only rocks, geology is the study of earth as well. So whenever we study earth and rocks, we call this science geology. Okay, let's move to the second one.
2.
Do you want to study biology?
Okay, biology. Which picture is biology? B, exactly. In the picture here, we can see some kind of a slide maybe under the microscope. So biology is the study of the body, the human body. We can study the cells, we can study the organs, we can study how the body works. All of this is biology. Okay, and the person, of course, who studies biology is a biologist. Okay, let's listen to number 3.
3.
Zoology is the study of animals.
They gave us the definition here, and we already discussed zoology in the conversation in the first exercise. They said it's the study of animals, and we have a picture of a toad here, just like the one in the conversation. So it's picture H. H is number 3.
4.
Do you think that physics is difficult?
Physics. Which picture is physics here? G, exactly. This is physics. What do you think physics is? Well, it's the study of atoms. It's the study of atoms, okay? And it's really complicated. And the person who studies physics is called a physicist. Okay, it's a complicated word and a complicated subject, actually.
5.
Are you interested in astronomy?
Astronomy, which picture is it? Picture A. Here in the picture we have a planet. So what do you think astronomy is? It's the study of planets and stars and outer space and all these things. Anything related to outer space and the solar system and so on, we call that science astronomy. And the person who studies it is an astrologist.
6.
Botany is the study of plants.
Another definition here and another genre of science that appeared in the conversation is botany, picture C, yes, and as they said here, it's the study of plants.
7.
I'd like to study oceanography.
Oceanography. From the word itself, which word can you identify or recognize? Ocean. So oceanography is the study of oceans, of course, how the water moves and the waves and tide and so on.
8.
Do you think that chemistry is fun?
Chemistry. Which picture is chemistry? D, exactly. We study in chemistry the substances and the chemical reactions and so on. Okay, actually, to make my words here more clear, I have a video to show you about some chemical reactions. It's really interesting and it's really simple. You can try this at home if you want, after taking permission, of course, from your parents. This video is really nice and easy, and it shows us how is chemistry fun, actually. It's not only knowledge, it doesn't only
Grammarly does more than catch errors.
it doesn't only
With
give us
Grammarly, you can find
information,
really good, no,
It's
perfect
also fun.
words that make your writing sharp or explicit.
Hey, Squints!
Dr. Squishball asks, what are some chemical reactions to do at home? To answer that, I wanted to take a look at 5 different chemical reactions that you can do with stuff you probably have laying around the house, and I brought in some squints to help me out. These reactions should be done with proper safety and adult supervision. I'm an adult. Does that feel like a normal egg? No, right? That's not a normal egg, it sounds squishy. In this first reaction, place a raw egg in a jar full of vinegar and wait at least 1 day. It's a slow reaction. This is a classic acid-base reaction where an acid, in this case vinegar, reacts with a base, in this case calcium carbonate, or the shell of the egg. Acids are molecules that give up a proton, a base grabs that proton. In this experiment, the vinegar is giving protons to the eggshell, which is made from a base, forming carbon dioxide, which makes the air bubble around the egg. This reaction is slowly eating away molecules from the eggshell, and eventually the shell gets so thin that it's basically gone. So eggs are usually hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's not hard, huh?
It's squishy.
It's squishy, right?
It's a squishy.
Here, I have nail polish remover. Do you wear nail polish? No, but
Do it.
girls do. In this demonstration, we use nail polish remover, chemically known as acetone, which is good at dissolving certain materials. It's kind of like how water is good at dissolving sugar, making the sugar seem to disappear. Acetone is especially good at dissolving styrofoam, so good in fact that you can make an entire block of it seem to disappear just by touching the two together.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, that's pretty cool,
I
right?
can sit down here.
Really, the acetone dissolves the styrofoam, making it seem to disappear, which releases all the trapped air in the styrofoam. And now it's all gone. Have you ever had cabbage? Don't know. It's a vegetable and I don't think it tastes very good, but I'm sure it's healthy for you. When we talk about the pH of something, we are saying how strong of an acid or base something is. But you can test the pH of liquids in your house with glorious red cabbage juice. Side note, this has to be the only good use of red cabbage. All you do is boil red cabbage until the water starts turning a dark bluish purple. This color means the liquid is a neutral pH, meaning it isn't an acid or a base. It's in between. That's because all that is in the cup right now is red cabbage and water. Water is neutral. If the juice turns red when you add something, whatever you added was an acid. If it turns green or yellow, that thing you added was a base. Add any liquid you want to some of the juice. Liquids with little coloring work best. As we already mentioned, vinegar is an acid. If you add vinegar, the juice turns a red color. Cleaners are usually a base, so oven cleaner has a strong base in it, and it'll turn the juice green. Acids are sour to the taste, so when we add some sour lime juice, we see that it is an acid. Try it out and find out what things in your kitchen are acids or bases. Elephant toothpaste is a classic chemical reaction. A household version of it uses yeast. Remember, yeast is a living thing. It's a fungus. You can wake up these sleeping critters with 3 tablespoons of warm water and let them feast on half a cup of hydrogen peroxide. As the yeast eats the hydrogen peroxide molecules, it breaks them up, creating oxygen gas and water.
It's so fluffy.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It is hot. That's a good observation, right? So it's releasing energy. If you feel it, you can feel it kind of steaming. By adding soap, the oxygen gas gets trapped in the soap, creating soapy, foamy bubbles that spew out of the bottle. The last reaction deals with fire and lighter fluid, so this definitely needs some adult help. Get some sand and douse it in lighter fluid, make a pile of sugar and baking soda in the middle, and light it on fire. Slowly a carbon snake should rise from the sand, or carbon larvae, depending on the day.
Like tiny little larvae.
There are several reactions happening here, but the main one is how the sugar reacts with oxygen in the air and the fire to break apart into pure carbon atoms and water. The snake itself is mostly made from the carbon atoms, similar to what pencil lead is made out of. So try these reactions out for yourself, keep asking questions, and keep on squinting.
Hi, Gift.
Okay, great. So now as you watched, we have here 5 chemical reactions. You can try any of them home, but you need to take permission first, of course, and you need to ask an adult to be with you. Okay, let's go back now to our lesson. Let's move to page 36. Okay. So now in the page here, Just a second. As you can see here, we have some pictures. These are some of the equipments that might help in doing any scientific experiment. They actually they can be found in any lab. Okay, some of them, or actually most of them, are common, and I think you know most of them. Let's listen together to each one and explain their meanings. It's exercise 8, the vocabulary part. I'm sorry about that. Okay, are you ready?
Page 36, Unit 3, Lesson 3, Activity 8. Listen and repeat the sentences. Match them with the photographs. 1,
We use goggles to protect our eyes.
Okay, so which picture is the goggles? It's picture F. And the goggles here, it's double G, not double O. It's not Googles, it's goggles. And it's like glasses that protect our eyes during any scientific experiment. It's a must to wear them.
2,
We use a thermometer to check temperature.
A thermometer. Which picture is the thermometer? Picture J, exactly. And of course, the thermometer that we use in the scientific experiments is totally different than the one that we use to measure our temperature. These are two different thermometers.
3,
We use test tubes to hold liquid.
Test tubes. Which one is it? I. And you can find these test tubes in any lab. Actually, in the science lab at school, you can find many of these things. They hold the chemical substances and the liquids and so on.
4,
We use a magnifying glass to see better.
Which one is the magnifying glass? Picture G, exactly. It makes things look bigger and closer, but things that we can actually see with our own eyes, but they are small. So it helps us to see clearer.
5,
We use a calculator to add numbers.
I think all of you have already a calculator and you use it in the math lessons. It's really common and it's almost with everyone. And it's picture D, of course.
6,
We use beakers to mix liquids.
Beakers, it's picture B. And the beakers here, we measure the liquids because they are graded, so we can know exactly how much did we pour and how much do we want and so on.
7,
We use gloves to protect our hands.
Picture E, exactly.
8,
We use a microscope to look at small things.
Okay, the microscope is picture H, and the microscope is actually different from the magnifying glass because the magnifying glass, it helps us to see the small things closer, things that we can actually see with our own eyes, but they are not that clear. But the microscope is different. It shows us the things that we cannot see with our own eyes, like the cells inside our bodies and so on. So in the microscope, we use it with things that are much more tiny and much more really, really small, and we cannot see them with our own eyes.
9.
We use scales to weigh things.
Picture A, of course, is the scale, and we have a scale for ourselves at home to weigh ourselves. And your mom can have scales in the kitchen to weigh vegetables and fruits and so on.
10.
We use a burner to heat things.
Okay, the burner here, it works like the stove, but we use it to heat the chemical substances to reach a certain heat. Now let's move to exercise 9. It says here, match the sentences with words in activity 8. We have here some definitions. We're going to read them and you will guess with me which word is it. Number 1, our hands are protected by them. Which one from exercise 8 do you think that is? Gloves, exactly. Number 2, it's used to look at things we cannot see just with our eyes. We cannot see them with our eyes. So what do you think it is? Microscope, exactly. Number 3, your eyes are protected by them. Goggles, excellent. 4, it's used to check temperature. What can we use to check temperature? A thermometer, great. 5, liquids are poured into them. What do you think that is? Beakers, exactly. And number 6, it's used to add numbers. This is the easiest one, a calculator, of course. Okay, exercise 10, we have a song here. In the box, we have some phrases. They are missing from the lyrics of the song. We're going to listen to the song now and try to fill in the blanks with the missing phrases. Be prepared with a pencil.
Page 36. Unit 3, Lesson 3. Activity 10. Read and guess the missing words. Then listen and sing.
Put on your goggles, put on your gloves. We're doing something that everyone loves. We're doing an experiment today. Be careful with the beaker when you mix and pour. Don't spill liquid on the laboratory floor. Put on your goggles, put on your gloves. We're doing something that everyone loves. We're doing an experiment today. Be careful with the burner. Remember, it's hot. You don't want to burn yourself. That hurts a lot. Put on your goggles. Put on your gloves. We're doing something that everyone loves. We're doing an experiment today. Put on your goggles. Put on your gloves. We're doing something that everyone loves.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the song. So if you want to repeat the song again, you can do it until you get all the missing phrases. Now let's move to page 38, I think. Yes, it's page 38. Here we have another experiment. This one here is explained with the materials and the equipment and the steps, and you can actually try it at home. Let's listen together to the girl and see exactly the details of the experiment and whether you can do it at home or not. It's exercise 15. And as you can see in the picture, there is a huge test tube here, or like a container or a beaker. Let's see what the girl did. And let's see what are those colors here.
Page 38. Unit 3, Lesson 5. Activity 15. Listen and read. How much sugar was added to each beaker?
Science is my favourite subject at school. I think that I'll be an astronomer in the future. Or I might be a chemistry teacher because I love doing experiments and talking about the results. Yesterday, I did an experiment at school. Then I wrote a laboratory report. Materials: water, sugar, food colouring. Equipment: a large beaker, 4 small beakers, 4 metal spoons, a tall glass cylinder, a burner. The experiment. 1. Water was poured into the large beaker and heated over a burner. 2. When the water was hot, an equal amount of water was poured into each of the small beakers.
So if you're doing this at home, you don't need actually the burner. You can just add hot water directly from the kettle. Okay, the girl here, she's doing the experiment in a lab. So that's why she has the burner. But if you're doing this at home, after taking permission, of course, you can just use hot water. Let's continue.
3. Sugar was added to the 4 small beakers as follows. Beaker 1, 1 spoon. Beaker 2, 2 spoons. Beaker 3, 3 spoons. Beaker 4, 4 spoons.
So the amount of sugar is different here in each beaker.
4. The sugar and water were mixed together completely. 5. Colouring was added. This was a different colour for each beaker.
Change the color. In each beaker, try to use a different color to have a colorful experiment at the end.
6. The water in beaker 4 was poured into the cylinder.
They started with the water in beaker 4.
7. The water in beaker 3 was added very slowly and carefully to the cylinder. It wasn't mixed with the other water.
Cool.
8. The same thing was done with beaker 2 and beaker 1.
Okay, so now they brought some water and they boiled it or they heated it, and then they divided the water, the amount of water that they have, into 4 different beakers. In each beaker, they added sugar. In the first one, they added just 1 spoon. In the second, 2. In the third, 3. And in the fourth, 4. So now we have 4 beakers with 4 different amounts of sugar. Then after they finished and they stirred it until the sugar was dissolved, they added the food coloring. In each beaker, a different color. Then they started to pour all the liquid together in one large beaker. They started with the water in beaker 4 with the 4 spoons of sugar. They added them, and then on top of it, carefully and slowly, they added water from beaker 3. And they noticed that water from beaker 3 and 4 did not mix together. Then they added water from beaker 2, then 1. So what do you think happened here? Whenever you add sugar to the water, it changes the consistency and the thickness of water. So when we added 4 spoons of sugar to the 4th beaker, the water itself became thick, really thick. So when we added the 3rd beaker on top of it, the 3rd beaker had 3 spoons of sugar. It was less thick. So that's why they didn't mix together. The consistency and the thickness were different. And the same thing happened with beaker 2 and beaker 1. You can try this at home and tell me if it worked. Exercise 16 here. Think about the experiment, then answer the questions. Number 1, it says, what were the results of the experiment? So as we said, the liquid didn't mix. Water from beaker 1, 2, 3, and 4 wasn't mixed together. Why do you think this happened? Because of the what? Of the sugar, of course. The sugar changed the consistency of the water. Okay, number 2. How many spoons of sugar were needed? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you added all of them together, how many spoons do you get? 10 spoons, actually. Yes. Number 3. How many colors were used? Actually, it's clear in the picture here. 4 different colors. And the last thing, do you think that the experiment would work without sugar? If we didn't add sugar, would it work? No, of course not, because if we didn't add sugar, it would be just water and everything will be mixed together. Okay, thank you so much. That's it for today. See you again, inshallah, next lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. See you later. Bye.